What up, crew? This is the CineChamber channel. We're going to be talking about the top 10 movies that I liked, my personal opinion from 2025 last year. But first, please subscribe to the video or the channel, like the video, and then hype the video if you could. I'd really appreciate it. Just help me boost this brand new channel that I'm really starting to kick up with. Let's get into the top 10 from 2025. Coming in at number 10 is a Minecraft movie. Yes, I said it, a Minecraft movie. I watched this at home with my fiance. Now, I loved this movie. I enjoy Minecraft. I like to play the game. I like to play some of even the side games like Minecraft Dungeons. I really liked Minecraft Story Mode. Maybe that makes me a loser. I don't know. But I also enjoy Jack Black. He's really fun. He's really silly. It just kind of was a really fun, silly movie. So he was perfect for it. I really liked Jason Momoa's character in this. He kind of looks a lot like one of my best friends, which is really funny to me. Icing on the cake to that is that my best friend used to drive a red Ferrari just like kind of Jason Momoa's character did in this film, which was kind of ridiculous. One interesting thing is I learned the word chortled through the subtitles of this, which is a word that I didn't know. It kind of just means like a little chuckle, I guess. So I didn't think I was going to learn anything from the Minecraft movie. That was interesting. It's just fun, a completely unserious time. It's incredibly absurd. It's silly. Don't expect it to be like some story-driven masterpiece or anything, because it's not. It's just a downright ridiculous time. It gets more hate, in my opinion, than it deserves for being like brain rot material. But like, I grew up with movies like Napoleon Dynamite, which, side note, is the same director as a Minecraft movie, which is kind of funny. But if Napoleon Dynamite isn't considered like brain rot material, then I don't really know what is. The world's kind of always had that brain rot material in it. We just grow up with different terms and phrases as we grow into the world, you know? So on IMDb, they give this movie a 5.6 out of 10 from 149,000 ratings. Rotten Tomatoes, it gives it a 48% on the tomato meter from 197 critics, an 84% on the popcorn meter from 10,000 verified ratings. Metacritic, they give it a 45 out of 100 from 40 critics, a 5.5 out of 10 from 951 user ratings. On Letterboxd, it's a 2.5 out of 5 from 1.4 million members. I actually rate Minecraft a 9 out of 10. Now tell me, is that too high? What did you think about a Minecraft movie? Coming in at number 9 is Predator Badlands. I went to the theaters with some friends to watch this. I thought it was a really interesting evolution of the Predator franchise as a whole, since we have Deck as the main protagonist, being more of a hero role than a villain role compared to like Predators of the past movies where they were kind of actually the villain. But Elle Fanning, she played Thea as a fantastic sidekick in this movie, and then her role as Tessa, being the main villain of this movie, was like even better. Her playing the dual roles just made for a really, really great time with her characters. There was this action scene with Deck and then Bud. So Bud is a baby Callisk. Deck goes to this planet to begin with to hunt a Callisk and show he's worthy of being a Yaogwai. Maybe that's not the right word. A predator. And so then they run into this little thing. They named it Bud. Thea did. Deck is along for the ride. They kind of all bond. Anyway, Deck, Bud, and then Thea's android legs having to go and rescue her upper half of her body that's missing is just really, really peak cinema to me. So this film had excellent action. It's surprisingly a lot of heart because it has this underlying representation of like found family. And then Deck also kind of has this coming of age story arc. Some would say that this film's like delightful and cute. Some say it's adventurous and emotional. Some even say it's like the Disneyfication of the Predator franchise. I mean, personally, I don't see the criticism of that. I think this movie absolutely crushed it, especially for being a PG-13 movie. On IMDb, it was a 7.3 out of 10 from 67,000 ratings. On Tomatoes, man, I cannot talk right now. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's an 86% on the tomato meter from 266 critics and a 95% on the popcorn meter from 5,000 verified ratings. Metacritic gives it a 71 out of 100 from 43 critics and a 6.2 out of 10 from 364 user ratings. Letterboxd says it's a 3.5 out of 5 from 314,000 members. I personally give Predator Badlands a 9 out of 10, and this is number 9, so it's very fitting for that. What about you? What'd you think of Predator Badlands? Was it the Disneyfication of Predator? Was it really good like it was in my opinion? What'd you think? At number 8 is Weapons. So I saw this in theaters with some friends. I also watched it on Discord for a Discord movie night that me and some of my friends do. This movie had a lot of people kind of making jokes about the Naruto run that they did. But Zach Krieger actually kind of came out. He's the director. He said he took inspiration from these children that were running away from their town being bombed. And like, I kind of think that's really haunting, actually. So it was really fitting for the movie. I enjoyed that the film was told through like multiple perspectives. It gave this unique style for a horror movie to see how these different people that were involved of the tragedy that the town kind of had thrust upon it was happening to them. It was really cool. The movie had like a lot more comedy in it than I expected, especially towards the end. And I know that throws some people off, but like to me, it really made me enjoy the movie more. The part, now this is a spoiler, so fast forward to the timestamp down below if you don't want to see the spoiler. My favorite character in this is hands down Aunt Gladys. The way she uses her magic to manipulate people and uses her charisma to manipulate people, it just made her like one of my favorite villains out of the entire year. It's really a spoiler because nobody knows what's going on with this town. It's kind of a mystery. And so when you learn it's a witch, being Aunt Gladys, who comes in and moves into, the child's family's house. Andy is his name, I think. I could be wrong on that. It just really is a kind of shocking reveal. So anyway, her death at the hands of the children at the end of the movie, where they're, chasing her through the house and then just ripping her to pieces, limb from limb, is just a visual masterpiece. Super beautiful. IMDb gives this a 7.5 out of 10 from 283,000 ratings. Rotten Tomato gives this a 93% tomato meter from 393 critics and an 85% popcorn meter from 10,000 verified ratings. Metacritic gave it an 81 out of 100 from 48 different critics and a 7.3 out of 10 from 635 user ratings. Letterboxd 3.6 out of 5 from 2.6 million members. Now I happen to rate Weapons a 9 out of 10. What do you think? Was this like your favorite horror movie of the year? I know for a lot of people it was. It is not mine. We'll be getting to it in the coming ones. At number 7, we have Superman, which I went to the theaters with a friend to watch this. Man, this just was really big hope vibes, especially for the new and upcoming DC universe that James Gunn is kind of heading. It just felt like a live action Saturday morning cartoon that can hold the attention for both kids and adults, I think. I haven't seen many Superman movies or shows. I was really never connected to the character. This film really made me feel more connected to Superman than I really ever have before. It was really cool that like the action and fight scenes where Superman just is so caring for all of life and wanted to save all of life. It was just top tier filmmaking for a Superman film. And then the villain, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, man, he's unhinged. He's vindictive. He's evil. I loved him as the villain. I mean, He had like an army of monkeys in a pocket dimension to troll the internet with anti-Superman propaganda. He's an absolute mad lad in the movie. I really loved it. Also, a huge shout out to the Justice Gang, the portrayal of the Justice Gang. So Hawk Girl was really good. Mr. Terrific, he stood out as this like insanely cool superhero that I never honestly heard of. And then the portrayal of the Green Lantern. He's just so corny and goofballish, but like literally in the best way possible. It was just peak. It was peak. So IMDb gives this a 7.1 out of 10 from 377,000 ratings. Rotten Tomatoes gives this an 83% on the tomato meter from 499 critics, and a 90% on the popcorn meter from 25,000 verified ratings. Metacritic, it's a 68 out of 100 from 68 critics. Kind of funny, it's a 68 from 68. Anyway, 7.1 out of 10 from 2,000 user ratings. And then Letterboxd gives it a 3.9 out of 5 from 2.9 million members. But I rated Superman a 9 out of 10. What do you think? Was this the best superhero movie out there this year? Or did Fantastic Four take it more for you? Or even Thunderbolts? Or something that I'm missing? Let me know. And at number 6 is K-pop Demon Hunters. Yep, that's right. I like K-pop Demon Hunters. I saw this at home by myself, and then I rewatched it with my fiance at home as well. The first song in the movie, it's called How It's Done, man. It absolutely drew me in. It got me hooked in. I'd never really heard a bunch of K-pop before this, but the whole album is pretty fire in all reality. I like hip-hop. I like rap. I like pop. I like all kinds of music. I've just never really listened to much K-pop, so this was a very good start to K-pop for me. The animation style in this is absolutely stunning, but that's to be expected from, Sony Pictures Animation. They brought us Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse and the Spider-Man sequel, and they're, I think, doing a K-pop Demon Hunters sequel as well. It's going to be pretty cool. The whole aspect of like the demons using music to influence the world so they can take it over is really cool to me. That includes the action scenes where the demons fight the demons. That's interesting. There's actually this mature, heartfelt, deep story being told here that like kids and adults can really enjoy, in my opinion. And then my favorite character was Derpy. I mean, the blue demon tiger. He's like lovable. He's adorable. He's an awkward side character. They could make like a spin-off show with just the blue tiger Derpy and then his magpie friend named Sussy, I think is the name. Just very interesting to me. Very, very silly characters. Great movie. IMDb gives it a 7.5 out of 10 from 109,000 ratings. Rotten Tomatoes, 93% from 98 critics, and a 99% popcorn meter from 500 verified ratings. Metacritic, it's a 77 out of 10 from 9 critics, 7.8 out of 10 from 420 users. Letterboxd, a 3.6 out of 5 from 1.7 million members. But I rate K-pop Demon Hunters a 9 out of 10. What do you think? Do you have kids that are absolutely obsessed with this movie? I know that my nephew is pretty much obsessed with this movie and obsessed with the album. I'm pretty sure you can hear a lot of the music on the radio. It's kind of crazy how much this blew up. I mean, it even got a theatrical release from a Netflix movie that was originally streamed on Netflix. Like, it was huge this year. Really crazy. Yeah. All right. At number 5 for me, it's Spinal Tap 2: The End Continues. I watched this at home by myself. This is like the most unexpected sequel to a movie this century of the best rock band that doesn't even exist. I was in a touring band for a couple years, and we watched This Is Spinal Tap during the time with my band. I fell in love with This Is Spinal Tap. It's just a classic mockumentary. It's so good that, like, at the time that it came out, so many people thought they were a real band, and they're like, these are the dumbest people in the entire world. That's how good of a mockumentary it is. I really love the dumb, silly humor of this mockumentary and the original. This is Spinal Tap. It feels so real that, you might even mistake it to be a real documentary. The premise of this film is like genius to me. So it's this old metal band coming out of retirement to play one final show. And it's just so funny because old metal bands do stuff like that. So it was just a perfect way to do a sequel to this movie in a very tasteful way, in my opinion. Also, I just got to say, rest in peace to Rob Reiner. He's a legendary director. He's a legendary actor. And he was both directing this movie and he played the director inside of the movie during this movie. So this is like his final film. So maybe you should see it just because of that. IMDb gives this a 6.5 out of 10 from 6.8 thousand ratings. Rotten Tomatoes gives us a 65% tomato meter, 139 critics, and a 90% popcorn meter from 200 verified ratings. Metacritic, a 57 out of 100 from 40 critics, and a 5.5 out of 10 from 2.6. User ratings, Letterboxd, 3.1 out of 5 from 37,000 members. I personally rate Spinal Tap a 9 out of 10 as well. It's beautiful. It's so good. I love Spinal Tap. Rock on. What do you think? Is there a better mockumentary out there than This Is Spinal Tap? Did you watch the sequel? Did you kind of hate it because it couldn't live up to what the original one had accomplished? Or did you like it just like I did? All right, coming in at number 4 is Frankenstein. Yeah, the Netflix one. I watched this movie at home with my fiance. I've honestly not seen a lot of Frankenstein like media. I'm really not familiar with Frankenstein, other than kind of what I've learned from the story through, major pop culture. This being my first real big like Frankenstein movie, it was just phenomenal for me. Guillermo del Toro did a beautiful job with the gore and the horror artistic beauty that's just portrayed throughout the entire film. The being brought to life scene in the tower and most of the events leading up to the construction of the monster and the machine, they're just so epic and grandiose, and I loved it. I had heard that this version of this movie follows the book pretty closely with some minor variations, which could be amazing for some people and terrible for other people. I really liked how this film was divided into kind of two main tales, one from Victor Frankenstein's perspective to carry the first half of the movie, and then one from the creature's perspective to kind of wrap it up. It's just a really cool movie. IMDb gives us a 7.5 out of 10 from 225,000 ratings. Rotten Tomatoes, 85% on the tomato meter from 365 critics and 94% on the popcorn meter from 1,000 verified ratings. Metacritic, it's a 78 out of 100 from 58 critics and a 7.4 out of 10 from 477 ratings. Letterboxd, 3.9 out of 5 from 2 million members. I give Frankenstein a 10 out of 10. Certified fire, absolutely gorgeous because of how gory and beautiful the movie is at the same time. Tell me, do you know a lot of Frankenstein? Have you watched lots of Frankenstein? Have you seen this Frankenstein? Is it better than some of the other Frankensteins? Is it worse? I want to know. All right, coming into the top 3 with Sinners. I watched this at a friend's house, and then I rewatched it with my fiance at home. I absolutely loved how this film takes place in like a single day. It really captures the feel of the period that it's set in. The fact that they spend the whole like first hour or so setting up the characters kind of really pays off in the long run for this movie. The big focus on music being woven into the story and the amazing music that's portrayed in this film is like astounding. Michael B. Jordan, he plays 2 roles, kind of like Elle Fanning, but this time he plays twins, and his portrayal of the twins are both incredible. The minor subtleties that he has in his manner and his like dress really helps define both of the characters, so you can actually kind of see a difference, There's like this mid-credit scene right at the end of the movie, and it's just icing on the cake for the finale of this. It gives me chills both times that I watch this movie. It's my favorite scene in the entire film. It's just perfect. So okay, this could be some slight spoilers, so go to the timestamp down below if you want to skip it. The vampires in this film were stunning. The way the vampires functioned was impressive, and it's really my only disappointment that we didn't get more of the vampires in this film. I really liked the portrayal of the vampires. I really liked the music culture. I really liked that the vampires themselves were Irish minority, and everything in this movie was kind of told from a minority perspective, especially for the time period. I really wish we got more of the vampires. I could see an entire spin-off background film prequel or whatever of just the vampires and the vampire culture in this. It was really cool. IMDb 7.5 out of 10 from 348,000 ratings. Rotten Tomatoes a 97% tomato meter from 425 critics, and a 96% popcorn meter from 25,000 verified ratings. I'm telling you, it's a good movie. Metacritic 84 out of 100 from 55 critics, and a 7.5 out of 10 from 993 user ratings. Metacritic's kind of harder on movies from what I've seen. And then Letterboxd, a 4.1 out of 5 from 3.4 million members. I'm going to give Sinners an absolute 10 out of 10 because it's just really good. It's beautiful. It's awesome. I'm sure it's many people's movie of the year. Is this your movie of the year? Let me know. Coming in the number 2 spot is One Battle After Another. I went to the theater by myself to watch this. My local theater was actually giving away a free ticket one day. And so I was like, I'm going to go see One Battle After Another. I didn't know who was going to go sit through a 3.5 hour or whatever long this movie is with me. So I did it by myself. I was literally so entertained 1 minute after another by this film. I didn't even go to the bathroom when I watched this, which I'm pretty notorious for going to the bathroom because I like, popcorn and soda at the theater, So after the first act of this film, that kind of set everything up. It really got me in such a stranglehold that I felt like I couldn't even miss a single moment. Anything could happen or the course could change at any moment in the blink of an eye. And so I was like, I can't go to the bathroom, dude. I gotta watch this. Leonardo DiCaprio's character is Bob, and then Sean Penn as Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, and Benicio del Toro as Sensei Sergio St. Carlos. Such excellent characters, each in their own right. All of them stole the show, and every scene that they were in, all of them were captivating. It was just so good. The way this music held hands with the pacing and anxious action of the film was a chef's kiss. I think the score laid out on top of the film while watching this was the best score of the year while watching the movie. It just felt so, interconnected. So I loved how the film was really kind of relevant for our time politically, while the film itself is kind of more left-leaning, which is something I personally agree with more. It's not overly kind to the left-leaning revolutionary mindset that is portrayed throughout the movie. It kind of shows their movement is still fighting and for what they believe is right, and it hasn't really changed or improved much of the world for a couple generations, even in the movie. So it didn't really show that they're the most competent or anything like that. It also really doesn't show very much good nature towards the right-leaning political ideology. They're kind of just racist villains. So what do you do? IMDb 7.8 out of 10 from 283,000 ratings. Rotten Tomatoes 94% on the tomato meter from 431 critics, and 85% on the popcorn meter from 5,000 verified ratings. Metacritic, it was a 95 out of 100 from 63 critics, and then a 6.8 out of 10 from 891 user ratings. Letterboxd, it was a 4.2 out of 5 from 2.1 million members. And then, I have to give One Battle After Another a 10 out of 10 because it's just so good. Honestly, this is realistically my favorite movie of the year. If I'm being for a serious movie, for a really good, really beautiful, pretty much perfect movie, this is the one. This is my number one. But my number one is controversial. Let's find out. And at number 1 is him. I know people hated this movie, man. I watched this movie in theaters with some friends, and I also watched this at home with my fiance. I still love this movie. Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense. Okay, it's not the most amazing movie, but like part of my love for this film is kind of like how much hate this film's gotten. It's like better than a lot of people like say that it is, and so for me, it gives it the best film of the year because it's the most lowest rated underdog, in my opinion, going to be cult classic movie from 2025. Like the cinematography in this film was just spectacular, utterly gorgeous, stunning. I mean, some people were saying that the cinematographer was like the one that made this movie right and that the director should stop directing or something like that. But the film itself is pretty anti-football. So like I feel like it was marketed to the wrong crowd. And it was like pretty anti-religious. Which I just really believe those two combined helped lower the review score and helped kind of make people not like this movie nearly as much. But there are people that I personally know that also didn't like this movie, especially as much as I did. Because like most people say, it just kind of doesn't make sense. But like Marlon Wayans' like role in this movie, he has the best performance in this film by far, and he is my favorite villain from 2025. He's just silly and unhinged, and he's got this serious tone, but then he's also insane kind of all at the same time, and just something about it and something about like the way Marlon Wayans did things just really killed it for me as far as a villain goes. And then the end of this film is just beautiful and it's epic. And I was blown away both times I watched it. In my opinion, the film kind of delivered on what it's discussing throughout the movie and what it kind of builds up the entire movie. Because they're like kind of giving these cult vibes and kind of, you know, saying that he was bred and raised, the main character, to be the next him, you know, the next it guy, the next football quarterback hero, the next Marlon Wayans character. And so like it delivered on that, and it wasn't lying to you, and it was just honest, in your face, blatant the whole time. So like to me, the film just shows utter confusion and delusion and insanity of fame and the idealization of like fame culture and like the greed and the glory that we all have this chance to be pulled into, especially with social media and stuff, and especially with a lot of idolization culture out there. So just to me, this is such an underdog that I had to give it the number one spot for my favorite movie of 2025. IMDb 5 out of 10, 19,000 ratings. Rotten Tomato, a 30% on the tomato meter from 227 critics, and a 56% popcorn meter from 1,000 verified ratings. Metacritic gives it a 38 out of 100 from 35 critics, a 4.7 out of 10 from 66 user ratings, and Letterboxd a 2.5 out of 5 from 236,000 members. I, of course, give him a 10 out of 10. It's just really cool. And like I said, the cinematography is just so good, so gold. So anyway, I really appreciate you stopping by this video. You know, tell me what was your top 10? What was your number one? Was it him like me? I severely doubt it. I'm also going to do, I think, a deep dive kind of review into the movie Him, and kind of just give more of my thoughts around the movie and some trivia and things like that. And just kind of go dive into the movie Him to kind of defend him and kind of, you know, justify my number one rating, I guess. Maybe you hate me for that. Maybe you don't trust me as a reviewer, especially as a brand new channel. Sure, that's fine. If you made it this far, please subscribe to the channel. Even if you hate my rating, like the video, you know, give me one middle finger up for liking him so much. Hype the video up. Say, yeah, this video is him, you know. But yeah, I want to know your top 10. I want to have a conversation with people about movies. just let me know. I really appreciate you stopping by. Catch you later, alligator.